Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. I was in the elevator when it started. Doors opened to the marketing floor, somebody laughed, and I heard it clear as a bell. Look who's here, Mr. Amanda. A couple of heads turned. Not my name, not my job title. A joke stamped on me like a sticky note. I stepped out, steady pace, briefcase in one hand, coffee in the other. At the end of the row, Amanda tilted toward Greg, that office funny guy with pressed shirts and a permanent smirk. She touched his sleeve, said something I didn't catch. He leaned in like it was a secret from a sitcom. When I got close enough to be human again, Amanda looked past me and told someone else, Chris has his little hobby. Keeps him busy. Little. Hobby. My business. I let the coffee cool in my hand, eyes on her, then on Greg. He smiled like I'd shown up to water the plants. I didn't make a scene. I said, good morning, to the group, then to her. We're still on for tonight. Dinner with her team. She didn't look at me, just tightened her ponytail and said, we'll see how late it runs. Then to Greg. Can you send me that thing? I'll look at it after the check-in. No one apologized for the Mr. Amanda. It floated between us like an office joke nobody questions. I logged it. I also logged the way Greg's eyes flicked over me and back to her as if I were a chair. That was the first time the three elements came together in one frame: mockery, distance, and that stage closeness. You don't need a lab to test it. You just note the temperature. I walked to my side of the building and set my coffee down. I told myself it was one of those mornings. Stress. Deadlines. People talk dumb when they're tired. I'd been patient before. I could be patient again. But patience has a cost if you pay with self-respect. I decided to cover that invoice differently this time. The hallway outside her conference room smelled like dry markers and cold pizza. When the meeting broke, I waited 2 steps to the side so she didn't have to pretend she was surprised to see me. She came out first with her tablet held like a shield. Greg followed, half a step behind, carrying nothing at all. You ready for tonight? I asked. We might push, she replied. People have deliverables. He added, we could just do drinks downstairs. Or not, I told him without looking. Amanda and I actually have a standing plan on Thursdays. Real life. He chuckled. Sure, man. No big. She pulled the strap of her bag higher. Don't be weird about it. Not weird, I said. Just done with being penciled in like a side gig. Chris, she went, this is work. You know how it is. I kept my tone flat. At work, they call me by my name. At home, I'm your husband. Those are the 2 labels I accept. Everything else gets returned. Greg blinked like I'd spoken algebra. It was a joke, dude. Then you'll survive without it, I told him. You won't need a grief counselor. Amanda rolled her eyes. Can we not do this in the hallway? We can do it anywhere, I answered. But here's my update. I won't be at the team dinner. I won't stand there as a mascot. If you need my support, ask. If you want a prop, buy one. She stared at me, quick calculation behind her eyes. So you're punishing me because someone joked? I'm setting a line because you didn't. Greg shifted like his shoes were tight. I should grab a call. You do that, I told him, and he disappeared because cowards love a calendar. She tightened her jaw. You're being dramatic. I'm being specific, I replied. One more thing. When you refer to my business in public, drop the little and drop the hobby. If you can't do that, don't refer to it. She exhaled through her nose. Fine. Thank you. I stepped aside. See you at home by 7. If work runs late, text before 6. I'm not waiting at the table again. Chris, come on. I'm not a host, I said. I'm a person. She glanced past me toward the break room, maybe checking who might be listening. 7, she said. I nodded once and walked. At the corner, I saw Greg at the glass, phone to his ear, staring at us through his reflection. Noted. At 6:30, she sent, running late. Don't wait. I ate at the counter, quiet apartment, a baseball game murmuring on TV, the chair across from me empty like an open tab. At 9:15 she came in, light step, a wave of perfume that wasn't from our house. You could have called, I said. I texted, she answered. I pointed to the chair. Sit. 2 minutes, then we go back to life. She stood, bag still on her shoulder. Okay. I kept my voice level. What you do at work is your lane. But I'm not here to be managed with leftover minutes. 1. Keep me off your team calendar. 2. Respect my schedule the same way you respect your VP's. That means you confirm or you cancel with time. No more maybes where I stand there guessing. She let out a short laugh. Wow, you're really mad. I'm really done, I replied. Third rule. If a guy in your office calls me something I'm not, correct him. If you won't, I will. Greg didn't mean anything. He meant exactly what he said. I told her. Words don't fall out of mouths by accident. She hesitated, then tried to lighten it. I'll talk to him. That's the minimum. Last thing, don't use me to solve your image. If you want to show the world you're stable, do it with your work, not with my presence. She studied my face. Are we okay? We're fine as long as the rules hold. Chris, this is a lot over a joke. It's not over a joke, I said. It's over a pattern. I'm just not pretending I don't see it. She opened her mouth to argue. Her phone lit up on the counter. Need to lock in the hotel by tomorrow. Gee. She flipped it face down without a blink. Work trip? I asked. Quarterly, she said too fast. You know that. I do know quarterly, I said. I also know a calendar. Text me the dates now. I'll send when it's finalized. Send now, I repeated. I'll adjust my week. She hesitated, then tapped quickly and forwarded something. I watched her face while she did it. People tell you everything if you let silence sit. Good, I said. I'm heading to the gym. You need anything? I'm fine. As I closed the door behind me, I saw the second charger by the entry table. Not ours. Different cable head. Different scuff marks. The kind you keep for a spare that doesn't live here until it does. Saturday morning, she was suddenly sweet. It started with pancakes. She hates making breakfast. That day, she stacked 3 on a plate, put the syrup on the table, and kissed my shoulder. Careful placement like a photo. What's the occasion? I asked. You were right, she said, flipping another pancake. I've been off. Work has been a lot. I don't want us to be tense. Agreed. I shouldn't have joked about your business, she went on. I know how much you put into it. That's true. She smiled at me like we were in a commercial. How about we reset? Maybe a weekend away? There's a leadership thing next month at the lake. Spouses can come for part of it. You could meet people, network. Sounds like work with different scenery, I said. It could be good, she insisted. Fun. We could use fun. Or we could use honesty, I answered. But I'm not against the lake. She slid the last pancake onto the stack. I also thought it might be smart to go through our budgets. Just big picture. Taxes, savings. If we streamline now, we'll be less stressed later. Streamline how? Like, she said casually. What's the real number on your quarter? I mean, not aspirational. Actual cash. I cut a wedge of pancake. You want the number. She shrugged. If we're thinking about buying later this year, we need clean figures. And if we put more in joint savings now, we get a better rate. You can see all the accounts, I told her. I know, she said, gathering plates. I just want to understand. Like, fully. What changed? Nothing. Something had. The math in her eyes wasn't about pancakes. I didn't fight it on the spot. I logged it next to the charger and the hotel text. And because action beats talk, I made a move that afternoon. I drove to my office, where the lights sleep on Saturdays. I sat at my desk with the blinds half open and separated the streams. Business accounts stayed business. Personal had its own path. I set up a new personal account, my name only, and shifted my direct deposit. Joint checking stayed for bills that were truly joint. Rent, utilities, groceries. I added a monthly summary rule. All transfers out get a note. No secret generosity. No silent subsidies. I put 2 folders on my desktop, one labeled Household, one labeled My Time. In Household, I wrote dates, amounts, and confirmation numbers. In My Time, I listed hours I had changed or sacrificed for her events so I could see what I'd given instead of guessing. That's not pettiness, it's clarity. At home, I canceled the recurring automatic top-up I'd set for her professional association dues. I didn't make an announcement. I wasn't punishing. I was reclaiming. That night, we watched a game. She curled into me like she used to. Halfway through the second quarter, she unlocked her phone, scrolled, and hid a smile. When she put it down, I saw a calendar entry pinned to the top. Hotel. Confirmed by March 15th. I didn't ask. When someone rehearses a lie, they repeat it. When they're telling you the truth, they run out of words. Monday, she asked again, more pointed. Can you send me your last 3 invoices and the net? I'm putting together a picture. For what exactly? Like I said, planning. Planning what? She bumped her hip against the counter. Chris, don't be dense. We're adults. Exactly, I replied. So we say the thing we're doing. Here's mine. I've separated our personal streams. Joint stays joint. My business is not a group project. If you want to look at numbers, we'll do it together at the table with the accounts open. No offline copies. No forwarding. That's not very trusting. It's very adult, I said. Trust sits on clarity, not the other way around. She picked up her mug. You're acting like I'm trying to trap you. I'm acting like a person who pays attention. We left it there. That evening, she slid into a softer tone. Can I make it up to you? She asked, stepping close, tracing a line along my sleeve. I know I've been sharp. You can respect the rules, I told her. That's enough. She nodded, eyes big. Then let's do the lake. We'll call it a reset. Sure, I said, even as the word reset felt like a script read off a cue card. At 11, while she showered, a text pinged on her other device. Not her main phone, something thinner, buzzing from the entry table drawer where we keep spare keys. I opened the drawer and saw a slim phone in a plain case. I'd never seen it before. I closed the drawer, walked to the bedroom, and turned off the bathroom fan. Is that your backup? I called. She cut the water. What? In the entry drawer. She opened the shower door a crack. Oh, work thing. They gave me a trial device for some app. I keep forgetting to return it. Return it, I said. We don't need extra electronics floating around. She smiled like I was being quaint. Yes, sir. I turned the fan back on and counted to 10. The water pounded the tile. I went back to the drawer and lifted the phone. It was warm. Battery fully charged. Lock screen lit with a message preview. We need to fix the money side before we file. Gee. Then it went dark. I put it back and closed the drawer. I didn't confront her then. Confrontation without preparation is theater. I don't do theater. I went to sleep next to her like a man who was tired from work, which was also true. The phone sat in my head for 2 days like a smoke alarm with a weak battery. Wednesday night, she announced she was flying out Friday for a client visit, 2 nights, back Sunday afternoon. I asked for the itinerary. She sent a screenshot with the city cropped, but times visible. Lazy move. Noted. Friday morning, she left before sunrise. By 8, I was at the house. I opened the entry drawer and took the phone. I tried her birthday for the passcode. No. The dog's name from her parents' house. No. For digits I'd used for our storage unit. No. I stared at the blank screen for a full minute and then tried GREG on the number pad. It opened. There's a moment people talk about when your stomach drops. Mine didn't. I just started reading. Messages stacked in months, a separate universe. Hotels with matching dates to her off-sites. Photos of lobby carpets and room service trays. Lines like, don't move until I lock down the promo, and I want to be smart. Get the financial part straight before paperwork. A thread where Greg sent a link to a webinar with a note. If he's bringing in X, make sure you document Y. Her reply, already tracking. Need clarity on his real net. I scrolled. More planning. If we split after bonus, optics are cleaner. His words. Make sure you keep him calm until then. Her words. I read until the text started to blur. I didn't throw anything. I didn't cry. I didn't stand in the kitchen whispering, how could she? I made a list. First, finances. I logged into every joint account and locked down anything that wasn't strictly shared. I turned off overdraft that was pulling from my business. I transferred my personal emergency fund to the new account and set 2-factor to my device only. I pulled a credit report. I froze my credit. I printed a list of monthly bills and highlighted what I'd continue covering because I live here too, and what I would stop because I am not a sponsor for 2 adults and a side ambition. Second, logistics. I reserved a short-term place across town for a month. Simple space, clean, month to month. I called a moving company for 3 items, my desk, 2 suitcases, and the safe. I booked a storage unit with a code only I would know this time. I changed the password on my laptop and set the lock screen to a plain color because I don't do drama. Third, communication. I drafted an email to her, saved it in drafts. No flourishes. From now on, household expenses will be split by this list. We'll use this shared sheet. Personal expenses remain personal. For household coordination, reply on this thread. No side channels. I added one line at the end. I will not be at your work events. Do not put me on your calendar. I didn't send it yet. Fourth, boundaries. I texted Greg from my phone, not hers, not the secret one. Hi, Greg. Going forward, keep my name out of your jokes. If you have business with Amanda, handle it professionally. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. He had the message. I put the phone back in the drawer exactly as I'd found it. I wiped down the entry table because the world can be simple when you make it simple. Then I walked out, got a sandwich, and went to the shop to finish a contract I'd been letting sit. The work steadied me. Work always does, especially when people have tried to rename it a hobby. Saturday, she sent a selfie from a hotel gym. Sunday, she came home with a bag of laundry that had been folded by someone else. She kissed my cheek at the door. Trip went fine. I asked. Productive, she said. How was your weekend? Quiet, I said. I got a lot done. A week later, there was a team happy hour. She asked if I'd come because the VP was going to stop by and it'd be good optics. Her words. Not my problem. I said I had other plans. She tried the soft sell. It would mean a lot, she said, adjusting my collar before work like we were back in the first year. Show you support me. I support what respects me, I answered. If anyone asks where I am, tell them I'm managing my little hobby. She winced. Don't be petty. Don't be sloppy, I told her. At 5, while they were taking over the back corner of the bar, I walked in anyway. I like to choose the terrain when a point needs making. I nodded to the bartender, ordered club soda, and found the circle. Greg was mid-story, 1 foot on the brass footrest like a captain. He saw me and made a face like, oh. Amanda's husband, someone announced. Chris, I corrected, friendly enough. Mr. Amanda, Greg chirped, then caught himself, eyes flicking to me. I smiled. Greg, I already sent you the note. Did you get it? He cleared his throat. Yeah, copy that. Amanda laughed too loudly. Everyone relax. I turned to the VP, a compact woman with a sharp haircut. Good to meet you. I'm Chris. I hear you run a tight operation. She offered a hand. We try. I run a small firm, I said. I respect tight. So you're the one with the, she started. Business, I finished. Yes. Right? She said, resetting. Good to meet you. Greg signaled the server. First round's on us, Mrs. Separate tabs, I said, cutting through. Amanda and I keep business and personal clean. Helps everyone. Amanda glared a fraction. Can we not do that here? We're doing clarity everywhere. I answered. It's efficient. The VP looked from her to me, in that way managers learn to do when something interesting might cost them later. Separate tabs it is, she told the server. Amanda slid next to me. You're making me look like a professional with boundaries. I asked. You're welcome. Greg tried a joke. Man, you're intense. Only when the basics get fuzzy, I said. Someone from her team asked, so how's the business, Chris? Not a hobby, I answered. Solid. Clients pay for outcomes. I deliver outcomes. Pretty simple. The VP nodded. That's how it should be. Exactly, I said. Which is why I don't do appearances anymore. They don't move the needle. Amanda dug her nails into her clutch strap. Can we talk? We're talking, I replied. She dropped her voice. You're punishing me in front of my team. I'm modeling behavior, I said, still not looking at her. Watch and learn. She faked a smile for the group. We'll catch up later. She moved to the other side of the circle. Greg got more animated, the way people do when they're trying to fill a space. I finished my club soda. I left money on the bar for my 1 drink and $3 for the server because service is a job and jobs deserve respect. Then I told the VP, nice to meet you. Nodded at 2 people whose names I already forgot and turned to Amanda. Text me only if it's about the house or the dog, I said. Everything else can wait. We don't have a dog, she snapped. Exactly, I said and walked out. In the streetlight, my phone buzzed twice. Unknown numbers. I didn't answer. I crossed to the lot where my pickup waited. Before I started the engine, I booked the movers for Thursday morning. Desk, suitcases, safe. Wednesday night, she tried strategy. She made pasta. She set the table. She poured me a glass of wine and pretended it was an ordinary evening in an ordinary marriage. I miss us, she said, careful tone, careful eyes. We're in the same room, I said. That's the most us we've had lately. She smiled like brave people in hospital commercials. We can fix this. We can follow rules, I countered. I'm trying, she said. I apologized about the joke. I'm asking you to meet me halfway. Halfway to what? I asked. To being normal, she said. We had a good thing. Let's not throw it away. Define good, I replied. She set down her fork. Why are you like this? Because your math changed, I said. You started counting on me in ways that weren't honest. That's a story you're telling yourself. Then explain the second phone, I said. Quiet, direct, no flourish. Explain the messages about hotels that match your offsites. Explain the lines about fixing the money side before paperwork. Her face paused like a screen buffering. You went through my things. You left a device labeled with someone else's name. That's an invasion. That's a fact check, I said. You can talk around it, or you can tell the truth. She stood, palms flat on the table. I can't believe you would spy on me. I can't, I said. You've been hiding in plain sight for months. You're being paranoid. Names, dates, screenshots I didn't need to take. I didn't touch your files. I read texts you left within arm's reach of our door. If you didn't want me to know, lock it with something other than his name. Her eyes sharpened. You're twisting this. I'm straightening it, I said. So hear this. You will not use me to stage your exit. You will not audit my life like I'm a client you're about to drop. You want to go? Go. But you will not strip my dignity on your way out. You're making it sound like You're making it sound like you're careful. I cut in. You're not. You're sloppy. And I'm not here to clean it up. She took a breath. We can set rules if that's what you need. I already set them, I said. Separate finances, shared sheet for the house, email for logistics only. No public props. No events together. You wanted a reset. Here it is. She tried one more card. We don't have to be enemies. We don't, I agreed. We're just not partners. She steadied herself. If you walk, you'll regret it. I don't make decisions I regret, I said. I make decisions I can explain to myself. She stared at me, calculating again. What do you want from me? Clarity, I said. And silence. She didn't follow. I didn't explain. At midnight, she came to bed and lay on the far edge like a teenager mad at a parent. I slept the way people sleep when they've chosen. Next morning, the movers came at 9. She was still in a robe, hair pulled up with a clip. What's this? She asked. This is me making space, I said. Desk, suitcases, safe. You're leaving? Her voice cracked a little, not a sob, not a plea, just shocked that the theory had become an object. I'm relocating, I said. Short-term place across town. I'll send you the list for the bills. I'll cover my share by the 10th each month. Please stay with me for now because I still pay to live here. If you need to schedule viewings for your next phase, give me 48 hours notice. You're punishing me. I'm protecting me, I answered. Different thing. You can't just walk out. I can't, I said. And I am. The foreman asked. Which pieces, sir? Polite, exact. Desk by the window, 2 suitcases in the hall, and the safe, I told him. That's it. Amanda tried a softer angle. She touched my arm. Chris, sit. We can talk. We've talked, I said. Now we act. She pulled back her hand like I'd burned it. Fine. Run. I don't run, I said. I exit. As the movers carried my desk, Greg called. His name flashed on her screen like a dare. She silenced it. She didn't say his name. She didn't have to. She followed me to the door. What am I supposed to tell people? She asked. The truth, I said. We set boundaries. We live separately. We're being adults. You're making me look bad. Your choices made you look how you look, I said. I'm just turning on the lights. She tried one last bluff. If you leave now, don't think you can walk back in like nothing happened. I won't, I said. That's the point. I moved into the short-term place at noon and organized it like a workshop, tools where I could see them, suitcases lined up, desk against the wall facing the door. I sent the email with the expense sheet and the rules, copied myself at my business address, and saved it to the household folder. I turned off my phone for 2 hours and finished a client outline. When I turned it back on, there were 15 messages from Amanda mixing sugar and threats, and 3 from unknown numbers that read like Greg playing lawyer in his own head. I replied to one, household logistics only. Everything else is noise. That night, she waited outside the building, arms crossed, the clip in her hair replaced by a perfect bun. I came down because I believe in looking people in the eye when they still deserve an eye. Get in the car, she said. No, I said. We're talking, she insisted. 2 minutes, I agreed. Right here. She checked the street like we were dealing in state secrets. You can't do this to me. I'm not doing anything to you, I said. I'm doing something for me. You're ending a marriage because someone made a joke. I'm ending a charade because I found a blueprint, I countered. You turned us into a strategy deck and expected me to be the slide at the end where the numbers add up in your favor. You're misreading. Then produce the original, I said. Unlock the second phone. Hand me the message that says I'm wrong. She didn't move. That's what I thought, I said. Here's the plan. We split the bills by the list I sent. We keep communication short and only where it matters. You want out with a story that protects your image and gives you a ladder at work. Write it. I'm not in it. You can't just wash your hands. I'm not washing, I said. I'm choosing not to be your alibi. She closed her eyes like she was centering herself. When she opened them, her tone had melted. I don't want to lose you. I watched her face. It was a good performance. It always had been. You wanted a sponsor, I said. You got me by mistake. She tightened her jaw again. The warmth went out of her voice in one switch. You're going to regret this. Maybe, I said, but I'll regret staying more. I walked back inside. She didn't follow. 2 blocks away, somebody honked at nobody. After that, her tactics shifted every 48 hours. First came kindness. She texted a photo of a home-cooked meal I didn't taste. Your favorite, she wrote. I sent back the budget sheet with a note about the water bill. Then came guilt. We worked too hard to end like this. I replied with dates for the next time I'd swing by to pick up mail. Then came pressure. We need to sit down and figure numbers. I returned. We have. See attached. Then came the office move, the attempt to bring me back on stage. My team is doing a volunteer event. It would really help if you came. I wrote. No events. Not negotiable. In between, I met with a CPA who spoke in clean sentences. We arranged my taxes cleanly, receipts in order, nothing ambiguous. He asked if I needed referrals for other services. I told him no. I needed order, not a crowd. A week later, the VP from her team emailed both of us about a partner mixer where spouses were encouraged. Amanda replied all with a breezy, Chris will be there. I hit reply all before she could clean it up. I won't attend. Wishing you a productive event. The VP sent back, understood. Amanda sent 3 separate texts. You embarrassed me. I didn't answer. She needed the stain of reality to stick. That wasn't cruelty. That was gravity. Greg tried his hand at bravado outside the coffee place near our old apartment. I had just stepped out with a paper cup when he jogged up, fake breathless. Got a minute? He asked. 30 seconds, I said. He shifted like he was winding up for a pitch. Look, man, I think we got off on the wrong foot. We didn't get off any foot, I said. You made a joke with my name in it. I corrected it. He forced a laugh. You know how office stuff is. I do, I said. It's where people show what they think they can get away with. He straightened his jacket. You can't control everything. I don't want to, I said. Just the parts with my name on them. He blinked. You done being difficult? I'm done being useful, I said. To you. I raised my cup like a toast and walked away. He didn't follow. That told me more than anything he could have said. The day the point of no return arrived, it didn't announce itself. It was a Monday. The light was gray. My inbox was regular. At noon, I stopped by the apartment for mail. Amanda was on the couch with her laptop. She closed it when I came in. We should talk about the lease, she said. It's up in 3 months. You want to renew? I asked. I want to know your plan. I'm not renewing, I said. I'll be out of my short-term place by then, into a longer lease across town. You can take this one or not. Your call. She stared at the blank TV screen like it might help. So that's it. That's it. What about the lake? She asked. You promised. I promised to entertain it, I said. Then I read a stack of messages that turned us into a checklist. I don't go to camps where I'm the tent. Stop turning everything into a line, she snapped. You're not in a movie. I'm in my life, I said. And I'm editing. She looked down at her hands. Tell me what would make you stay. Self-respect on both sides, I said. And we're past that. This is insane. It's ordinary, I said. People lose respect in small ways until one big thing makes it obvious. Then someone leaves. That's not a tragedy. That's cause and effect. She didn't speak for a long beat. Then she said, You're going to tell people I'm the bad one. I'm going to tell people nothing, I said. I don't need a jury. You're not even angry. I did angry, I said. Alone. Then I made a list. Now I'm following it. She swallowed. What about the money we've built together? We built a household, I said. We're closing it like adults. Check the sheet. She laughed once, fast and humorless. This is about your pride. Yes, I said. And it's about math. She stood and picked up her laptop again. Fine. Then go. I said. But hear this before I do. If I find out you used my accounts, my name, or any of my work to polish your narrative, I'll knock on doors you don't want opened. Not to punish. To correct the record. She flinched. Is that a threat? That's a boundary, I said. Learn the difference. She set the laptop back down. You think you're better than me. I think I'm done, I said. I took my mail and left my key on the table. I kept the fob. I still had 2 weeks of mail to pick up, and the building needed the fob to enter after 6. On the way out, I ran into our neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez, who watered plants in the hallway like it was her job. You moving? She asked. Changing scenery, I said. You look lighter, she said. Maybe I am, I answered. The last time we spoke in person, it was at a coffee shop with harsh lighting and no music. Neutral ground. She walked in late, sad, and didn't open with hello. You're really not coming back, she said. No, I said. You'll regret this, she repeated, like repetition could conjure a curse. I don't operate on regret, I said. I operate on respect. You're throwing away years. I'm dropping dead weight, I said. She leaned forward. You think I used you? That's your story. It's not a story, I said. It's a transcript. She held my eyes for 5 seconds. What do you want me to say? Nothing, I said. I'm not fishing for an apology. She sat back. Then why meet? To end it face to face, I said. So there's no confusion. She glanced at the people behind me. You like doing this in public, don't you? Makes you feel strong. I like witnesses when people rewrite history, I said. Keeps the edits honest. She shook her head. You're colder than I thought. No, I said. I'm clear. She stood up. You'll talk bad about me. I won't talk about you at all, I said. I'm not your PR. She picked up her bag. You don't scare me. I'm not trying to, I said. I'm done entertaining you. She stared at me for one last beat. I waited. She turned and walked out, chin high, like a person who still believed the mirrors would applaud. I stayed, finished my coffee, and sent one last email. Effective today, I'm out of the apartment except for scheduled mail pickup through the end of the month. The expense sheet stands. I won't be available for events, calls, or off-hours chats. If you need anything that falls under logistics, email. If it doesn't, don't. I closed the laptop and walked to my truck. The air smelled like rain. I got in, started the engine, and merged into traffic without turning on the radio. The world didn't change. Cars still cut each other off. Lights still turned red for no reason. But the weight in my chest had been exchanged for a plan, and plans are better than hope when you're building a life you can stand inside. People always ask later if there was a final line, the thing you said at the door or the elevator or the edge of the parking lot. There was. It wasn't clever. It wasn't cinematic. It was just true. The last time she texted me something beyond logistics, she wrote, "You think you're hurting me, but you're only hurting yourself." I typed back, "I don't hurt people. I remove myself from places that hurt me." Then I put my phone face down and went back to a client call, because despite what people at the office had said, my work was not a hobby. It paid for the truck I drove, the desk I used, and the new lease I signed with my own name. A week later, someone at her job slipped and called me Mr. Amanda, again in an email thread where I'd been added by mistake. I replied all, "I go by Chris." No anger. No explanation. 4 words and a signature. My favorite kind of message. In the months since, I've kept to my rules. I don't repeat stories. I don't warn. I do the thing, then I move on. If you're looking for drama, you can always find a bar where people throw glasses. If you're looking for dignity, you learn to drink water and leave quietly. That's not poetic. That's survival. Amanda built a plan that relied on me not noticing. I noticed. She counted on me to fill her frame while she adjusted the lighting. I stepped out of the shot. She angled for a ladder with a colleague who promised spotlights. I switched off the stage where my name had been used without my permission. There's a cost to every choice. Mine was paid up front, in boxes and short-term leases and quiet dinners I ate alone. Hers arrived with delays. A social circle that stopped asking about me, a joke that didn't land anymore, a circle at the bar that didn't quite know what to make of the empty space next to her. That wasn't my doing. That was the bill showing up like it always does. You want a grand lesson? There isn't one. There's just this. Respect is the only currency that doesn't inflate. When someone starts minting their own version with your face stamped on it, stop accepting it. That's it. That's the whole wisdom. It doesn't get you applause. It gets you your name back. When I left our apartment key on the table, I told her one last thing. She stood there with her bag, chin set, trying to find a lever she hadn't pulled yet. You wanted a sponsor, I said, calm as a weather report. I'm not in that business. Then I closed the door. And for once, no one laughed.